All right, I'm just gonna hop in. So I want to get this. Going. How are folks doing today? I moved a lot of furniture today. Like a lot of furniture today. Select the data to load. How's everyone doing today? Yes. Yeah. Smell Junpei from here. How are you doing, Aaron? How are you doing, O'Reilly? All right, I think that's good. I think that I've got that clue. I've got one of them done, so I need to get the other one here, and then I should be ready to unlock this second piece here. You're stressed? Oh no, I'm glad the stream can save you a little bit, hopefully. Unless... What is this room? This is the captain's quarters. Okay. Let's pull up the guide. Captain's quarters. 999. You've been reorganizing your room? No! Hopefully you find it. I'm sending you good luck. Okay. Go back. From the telegraph room, examine the large desk. Got a piece of paper. Examine the keyboard in the telegraph room. Is this the telegraph room? Yeah, me too. I'm super excited. I'm glad Adrian told me about it. I had no idea. Sorry, we got a new catchery and we got the Costco catchery. It's really nice, and the cats are having an effing ball with it. You might hear Suki playing with the one of the little like dangly like ball like jingle ball things. With the drawers beneath the screwdriver set to find a bottle of ink. Okay. Back out and turn left to get a different perspective. Find a bit of paper. Okay. In your inventory, combine the music box and screwdriver set to remove the middle cylinder. Okay. That's right. Got the cylinder. We can combine this with the ink. And we can combine this with the paper. Okay, we got the code. Step over from the desk and examine the machinery that sits upon it. This time displaying the machinery, examine the telegraph, and then tap the button again to start the next sequence. Okay. A jingle bell. A jingle bell. What do I do with this? Or does it say this? Okay, so step away from the desk and examine the machinery that sits upon it. We'll give you another new look at the desk itself. Here we go. Wait, what do you do? Okay, hold on. In the telegraph on the right side of the screen, then tap the button again. I don't know why it didn't work the first time. Nice. Got it. Opens the door beneath the telegraph. Grab that.
All ice. Alice. Does this mean?
Oh wait, this is okay. We didn't know what this was the first time we came through, I don't think. Junpei couldn't hold back. He had to know what was in that file. I think this is new content. Yeah, it is. Okay. Each page was covered with strange characters. They looked like tiny drawings of birds, snakes, insects, horned animals, wings, and even kneeling humans. There were many pages in the file, and each was full of those strange symbols.
What the hell is this?
He didn't realize he'd spoken out loud until Ace looked at him.
They are hieroglyphs, a form of writing used in ancient Egypt.
Freaking hieroglyphs.
That's right.
Can you read them?
Of course, I can't. What would make you think I could?
What the hell?
The heck? Junpei flipped through a few more pages. It wasn't just one or two pages that were covered in the strange symbols. Every single page was covered in them.
Whoa, the whole thing's like that.
And again, this is new content, right? Trying to read them was pointless. No, it isn't. Okay.
So it would seem.
Bottom deck, library. Oh.
Junpei remembered something he'd heard from Seven when they'd been in the chemical closet.
Seven said something like,
Alice sleeps in a small chamber
Yes.
past the Forest of Knowledge beneath the navel of the gigantic.
Men don't even know what hieroglyphs are.
could beneath the navel mean the bottom deck? And the Forest of Knowledge is the library? Then could Alice be in a room somewhere beyond the library?
What's wrong? Something on your mind?
Junpei blinked. Only then did he notice Ace looking at him. Curiosity and concern written across his face in equal parts.
Yeah. I just remembered something.
Is that so? What about?
Well, don't laugh, okay?
There was no reason for Junpei to hide his thoughts. There is, though. He began to explain his theory to Ace. Then he stopped. It wouldn't make any sense if Ace didn't know who Alice was supposed to be. He told Ace everything June had told him. Don't tell this man
Egyptian
anything.
Priestess, an Ice 9. Interesting.
And the woman who wouldn't melt, who was recovered from the Titanic disaster? They called her All Ice, which eventually turned into Alice. And she was purchased by an English millionaire who called himself Lord Gordain. According to Seven, this
It's all coming
ship
together.
is where he hid Alice.
And you think that he hid her in a small room, beyond the library on the bottom deck?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is just a theory.
We gotta get Ian and Kel in here. I don't know if they're still hanging out with a friend or not, but Ace stared off into the distance, his hand slowly and absent-mindedly stroking his beard. After a few moments, his hand stopped. He turned slowly to look at Junpei, and his brows drew together.
Junpei, have you ever heard of the term CAS?
Cass.
It stands for Cells Alive System. It is an advanced technology for freezing and preserving organic matter. Put simply, it is a technique that allows one to freeze things without the formation of ice crystals. Normally,
That's
if
fake.
you freeze something fresh, water within its cells expands as it crystallizes, damaging the cell membrane. CAS, however, works differently. The object to be frozen is supercooled using magnetic fields, and then frozen instantly and uniformly, giving ice crystals no time to form. It was originally developed for the preservation of food, as an alternative to the normal freezing process.
Is this just freeze drying?
Now, however, there are rumors that it can be used for other things.
What do you mean, other things?
Well, there are obvious medical uses, but perhaps also space travel.
Space travel? Are you serious?
Surely you've heard of suspended animation. Cryogenic freezing? It's a fairly common idea in science fiction books and films. People are sometimes frozen for especially lengthy journeys through space.
That was when Junpei understood what Ace was suggesting.
Whoa, wait a minute there.
Ace looked at him and raised an eyebrow.
Are you saying that Alice was frozen using that Cass thing?
Well, I'm sure the possibility is quite low, but it is a possibility.
Did we have that technology by then,
The
though?
special
I kind
ice
of doubt
you
it,
call
though.
Ice 9 does indeed exist, and casts were used to freeze her into that sort of ice instantaneously.
You think she could be alive?
Well, I can't say for sure, of course. I'm only talking about possibilities. The melting point for Ice 9 is 96 degrees, right? If she were put somewhere where she could reach that temperature,
Right, like the effing incinerator?
That's nuts. Are you really saying she could have defrosted and started walking about?
you're quite right. It does sound unbelievable. But if she had, then we would have an explanation for the
Mariah
man we
Carey in
found dead on the
Fortnite?
floor.
You mean the guy dressed like a captain?
Yes. He was dead when we found him. Clearly, he was murdered. But if he was murdered, then by whom? It couldn't have been one of us. That would be impossible.
Final boss, Christmas Mariah Carey.
In order to enter the captain's quarters, one must first open door 1. That door that requires the Earth key prevented us from accessing door 1.
Did they seriously actually do that?
Who was it that opened that door?
Santa and Lotus.
Right. Clearly, the two of them could not have opened door 1, or any other door for that matter.
Bro.
Who else then could have done so?
9 retweets, 99 likes. Junpei thought for a second.
Nobody. After Santa and Lotus used the Earth key, they turned back and met up with me and June. Then we returned to the large hospital room and found Ace, Seven, and Clover. While we'd gone into the shower room, Ace, Seven, and Clover had stayed behind. But it's impossible for those three to open door 1. But what What about when June and I took the elevator to door 2? No, still won't work. We were only gone 5 minutes. No human being could have run to the captain's quarters, killed that guy in there, and run back that fast.
Unless they're not a
It would
human
be
being.
impossible for any of us to be the murderer. That being the case, who could have killed him? Wouldn't it make sense if his killer was someone who had been in the ship for some time? A person like that would know the ship well. They would know the locations of all the hidden passages and secret doors. The numbered door would mean nothing to someone like that. It would be a simple thing for them to enter the captain's quarters.
Then
True,
you're
true.
saying the killer was Alice?
It comes out tomorrow? It was Junpei's turn to raise an eyebrow. Ace drew his thumb across his lips thoughtfully.
Well, this is all only
You can go
one
see it in
possible
theaters.
theory.
All ice. Alice. Is she really somewhere on the ship?
Junpei had only one clue. The key card in his hand.
This card will give me access to the Forest of Knowledge. And the big mystery. What could be there beyond the Forest of Knowledge? Anyway, whatever. It's gonna have to wait. I can't do anything right now. I'll come back to this later.
He gripped the key card tighter and shoved it deep into his pocket. That should be everything I needed to do with this escape room. Yep, I got both keys. And that's unlocked now. Cool. Okay, so I get how this works now. I get how this key system works. So the key system, it shows you where like a pivotal scene can occur. And you have to do that scene in order to unlock it. So it'll be crossed out if you haven't gotten that pivotal scene. Once you get the key scenes in these things done, so these scenes here, this scene here, these two scenes here, then that can unlock that thing. I'm assuming that the same thing is true of these guys, and that you have to make those change, or you have to have pivotal decisions here and throughout this line here to make this unlock and give you the safe ending versus the knife ending. Although I'm not sure why the safe ending has a yellow key on it. I don't really know what that means. But anyway, I think we can go to the novel now. Maybe, but I don't really know how the a yellow key relates to being for the true ending. They stepped out of the captain's quarters and into another hallway. The hallway stretched.
All
Okay,
right,
I can just skip
let's
this.
go.
Should be ideally stopping here in a minute here with new content.
A note.
Yes. Okay. No. Yes. Yes.
A note?
Yeah, I found it in the pocket of the guy with the captain's clothes. It said something about the darkness of the sinister hand or something.
Oh, so okay. Really, I was thinking. This isn't really relevant to the stream, but I was thinking, what if Cinder Clan moved in the trees, like moved in the treetops instead of moving on the ground most of the time? I thought that would be neat. Yeah, me too. I didn't know about the skip functionality until just now, because it's kind of hidden. You can't use the button down here. You have to go into a menu. Yeah, the trees are burnt. Yeah.
What the hell? Let me see it.
No, not right.
But Junpei wasn't going to get to see it. From the other end of the hall, he heard Ace's voice.
Hey, Clover, what are you two doing? Hurry up!
He's getting mad.
Clover shrugged.
I'll show it to you later, all right? Come on, we gotta hurry.
Before Junpei could protest, she was gone. Around the corner and off down the long stem of the L. Note? Note. Junpei was curious, but there was something else that bothered
From
him.
the look of that pocket, it doesn't particularly look like just a note. Jeez, what are you thinking? For crying out loud.
Because she knows that Snake isn't dead, she's not going to want to kill anybody. So that's good. Junpei did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later, and he ran off after Clover. Did you want to go, like, genuinely, did you want to go see the movie in theaters, Sheepy, or do you just want to wait until it's out? Junpei pushed through the door and found himself in a large room with a large set of stairs.
Huh. So this is where it ends up. just like it says on the map.
It was just what he'd expected to see after reading the map. His I see after reading the map himself meant that Ace had probably realized the same thing.
Ace, did he head down?
He put his hand on the handrail and leaned over to look down. I don't really know why it's like lagging. I don't know if anyone else has seen that, but it's like for some reason the text is like lagging when it comes in. This game is so simple. I'm not sure why it's like hitching.
Look, the 4 others are there too.
It'll be crowded on day 1. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. We can see it when we get back, I think. And not just Ace, Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus as well.
Really?
Let's join them.
Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. From all those indingas, they reached a B deck at the same time.
Jumpy, Clover.
Hey, what up, Ian? Let's go. Jun's face was excited. Something had happened. That much Junpei could tell by simply looking at her.
What's up?
I'm working on the true ending right now. Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself.
Found it.
Found what?
We found it.
What did you find?
The last door.
Let's go.
We found door 9.
I got through some of the key scenes, and then I was like, I don't know how much more time this is going to take, and it's already really late. So I ended up stopping after in the middle of the captain's quarters.
What?
Come on, just follow us. We'll explain on the way.
Okay.
Seven turned and jogged off down the stairs.
Well, if that's the case.
Wait for me.
We should get going as well.
The rest followed.
Jumpy, we finally made it.
The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each of them felt.
Yeah.
And nobody's dead except for the
finally
ninth man. Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they'd really done it, at least not just yet. Still, if everyone said that it was door 9, then it probably was.
Reached the end.
He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one. How are you doing, Ian?
Only 3 to 5 people can go through the numbered door. 7 of us are on our way to door 9. That means that, best case scenario, there will be 2 of us who have to stay behind.
Wrong!
Is there a way?
Junpei looked over at the clock.
4:30. We've only got 90 minutes left. I've got no time to wonder about it now.
Hey,
Let's go.
Junpei, June, what the hell are you two doing? Hurry it up!
Let's go. Drawing time. Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie.
Let's go, Jumpy.
June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could. Junpei followed. What you drawing? As a group, they piled onto the elevator and rode impatiently down to E-Deck. It looked familiar. There was a metal grate between the 2 elevators. Seven grabbed hold of it and began to talk.
I know I told you I'd explain it earlier, but honestly, there ain't much to explain. After we split off from you guys, the 4 of us got into the elevator and left. That took us to the other side of the grate.
There's ship on both days, actually. Probably gonna play something else. I want to do some like other horror games, I think.
After that,
I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna play next yet. I'm still kind of trying to figure it out.
we headed down another hallway. It took us toward the bow and eventually to the number 6 that you two found earlier. We opened it and kept going. There was another locked door behind it, like usual. But this time we had to complete 2 different areas before we could unlock it. Once we were through that door,
Play the second game.
there's another hallway that went the other direction.
No!
Start.
So, on your way, you found the elevator.
That's right.
So, in other words, you kinda did a lap, huh? You came from that side to this side.
Yeah.
What? With that settled, Junpei looked around.
So, where's the number 9 door?
Over here. Follow me.
Stop it. Seven began walking down the hallway that led toward the stern. Junpei and the others broke into a jog to keep up with him.
By the way,
They'd been walking for a while, June in silent step with Junpei when she spoke.
you know, it's because of Santa
Santa that we're all here right now.
Huh?
That all 7 of us are going to door 9.
It's true, actually.
You don't get it? Santa, 7, and Lotus, what's their digital route?
9. It's 9.
That's right. They could have just left me behind and kept going if they'd wanted to.
But they didn't.
Yes, because Santa wouldn't let them. He said, we can't leave June and the others behind. That's why we went looking for you guys.
Oh, I see. She's not even talking about that. I thought she was talking about the 4-leaf clover, which that's also really kind of true.
And then you got on the elevator and went back to the central staircase.
That's right.
Well, I wouldn't have called that one. That Santa would be the one to stick up for you.
Junpei felt his eyebrows knit as he considered that.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Perhaps June had sensed Junpei's
I
concern.
don't mean that 7 and Lotus said they wanted to leave me behind. We were just talking about it, and Santa objected to it first.
Is that so?
Junpei was about to respond when 7 suddenly
We're here.
stopped. In front of them stood a door.
So, is this...
Yeah.
Junpei couldn't see 7's face, but he could see him nod.
There's no other place for us to go.
Nope. Just look around. There's a big old iron wall at the end of the hallway. The other hallways on the left and right are blocked by metal grates.
I see.
It looked as though 7 was right. The door in front of them was their only choice.
All right, let's get moving.
He pulled open the door and walked in. Junpei took a deep breath and followed.
Oh,
It appeared they'd been telling the truth.
no way.
The first thing Junpei saw as he entered the room was a number, 9. Like all the others, it was a rough thing made of red paint. The door decorated sat on the back wall of a rectangular room. Junpei ran up to it.
The 9 door.
Oops. Oops. Oh, shoot. I'm gonna have to... Oh, I hate that I can click out of it. Okay, we're good. It was a large double door with powerful styling. Something about it was almost majestic, and it made the red paint look especially garish.
We're finally here.
Junpei grabbed the handle and shook. It didn't budge, but then he hadn't really expected it to. The red was bolted to the wall next to the door, its display read
No
vacant.
doubt about it. This is door 9.
But does it go here, though?
Oh, finally. This is the last.
Junpei felt the flood of emotion wash over him. He felt the chill run down his back, and his chest tightened even as his blood began to boil. There was a moment of complete silence.
Look behind you.
He turned around.
Behind? What?
Junpei could scarcely believe what he saw.
Why? A door and a 9. There's another one. Hey, what the hell? What the hell is going on here?
His words came slowly, and his brain struggled to understand what he'd seen. On shaky legs, he made his way to the second 9. It was a small door set parallel to the door they'd come through, but in the other corner of the room. This is door 9. This is door 9, for real, for real. There was no mistaking the number, and if any more proof was needed, a red was bolted to the wall near the
There's
door.
a red there too. That means... And of course it won't open.
He grabbed the handle and shook the door, not because he expected it to open, but because he had to make sure it was real.
Why? Why the hell are there 2 doors?
It was Ace who spoke first.
Do you think perhaps one is the right door and the other is the wrong one?
Lotus was skeptical.
I don't know about that. It seems unlikely.
What makes you say so?
Well, think about all the rooms we've been through so far. They're full of puzzles, but there are always hints about how to solve them. I'm pretty sure there aren't any rooms where we just had to go with our best guess and leave it to instinct to solve the puzzle. Do you really think that at the
Yes, there
very
shouldn't
end
be.
of the game, Zero's going to suddenly throw in something that depends entirely on luck?
Why did you almost hear that? She got like really quiet for some reason.
Then you're saying there's some sort of hint in this room.
That she was like moving away from the mic slowly.
No, I don't think there's a hint anywhere in here. I searched it very well when I was in here before. I didn't find anything that might have been a hint, though.
Well then, that means...
Yeah, both of these are the right door. I mean, if you think about it, Zero never actually said there was only one door with a 9 on it.
It is secret.
Junpei began to mutter to
There
himself.
are 2 number 9 doors. If we split it up right,
That's not gonna work.
Junpei blinked and looked up at Clover. She held out her
You've got a
hand.
notebook and a pen. Can I borrow them?
Yeah, here.
You need Snake. Slightly confused, he pulled them out and handed them to her.
Look at this.
Clover opened the notebook to a blank page and set it down on the desk. Everyone else gathered around her and watched as she wrote down a series of numbers.
You get it? The numbers on the top are all the combinations with digital roots of 9. The numbers on the bottom are the people who don't fit. There's only 8 possibilities if we split up into 2 groups of 3 or 4 people. So...
If 3 people go through the door, then 4 are left behind. If 4 go through, then 3 are left behind. Right?
yeah.
Clover nodded, almost as if she were pleased with herself for solving a difficult math
No
problem.
way.
The room went very quiet, and she's really fast at it. Silence lay across everyone like a thick, heavy blanket. No one spoke. Their faces were
Come to
blank.
think of it.
I stopped doing that. Desperate for something else to look at, Junpei turned his eyes to the room around
What is
him.
this room?
The walls were covered with candles. The wavering flame made the shadows of Junpei and his companions look as though they were dancing. 2 rows of wooden pews filled most of the
It
room.
looks like it's set up for some kind of ceremony. But what kind?
Between them was a strip of rich red carpet. The carpet ran straight through the room, ending at the door that pointed to the stern of the boat. At the other end of the carpet,
Is that an altar?
it was a recessed space set into the wall between the 2 other doors. Sitting on a raised section of the altar was a coffin.
A coffin? No, it couldn't possibly be.
But if it wasn't, then whose body occupied it? That was as far as Junpei wanted to pursue that line of thought. He decided not to think about the coffin for the time being. At that moment, Seven spoke. There was an edge of humor in his voice, but it was forced.
Okay, I give up.
It's your mom,
I give up.
Junpei.
I figured if we sat around here long enough, someone would volunteer. But I guess nobody's got the guts to do it.
What are you talking about?
Junpei didn't understand, and he wasn't the only one.
What? You guys didn't figure it out yet?
Wh-
Fine. Let me enlighten you. Clover was mostly right with her little explanation earlier, but she missed something. She wasn't really wrong. She just... screw it. Let me just write it out.
Seven snatched up the notebook and began to write in it. Everyone else clustered around him, desperate for a look.
If you're trying
Aw,
to leave
man.
a group of 3 and a group of 4 and get everybody out, Clover's right. But there's another way. Only one combination, though. If you split us up into groups of 3, 3, and 1, you can make this combination.
But don't worry, you can add a 2
Wait, this means...
and the 0.
Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to copy Ace or anything like that. Even if he hadn't been the hero back in the big hospital room, I'd still be saying the same thing.
The same thing?
Hmm.
Are you saying?
Yeah, I am. I'll stay behind.
No, 7.
Why are you acting so heroic all of a sudden? Are you some kind of idiot?
Lotus was the first to speak. That in itself was a little strange. She'd reacted much differently when Ace had volunteered.
No, I'm completely against this. I'll be goddamned if I'm gonna have to owe you for getting out of here.
The rest of them began to speak all at once.
I'm against it too. I didn't want to leave Ace behind, and I don't want to leave you either.
I don't like that idea. There's gotta be other options.
I disagree as well. I can't say I care much for you being the hero.
Finally, they quieted down. Junpei looked at
Well,
Seven.
there you go, Seven. Proposal denied. Clover's right. There's got to be a better way.
Denied. Seven made some noise that was somewhere between a derisive snort and a cough.
Doesn't make any sense.
He was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Junpei could see the twinkling of water at the corners of Seven's eyes. That was when Santa spoke.
Whoa, hold on a minute. I haven't said anything yet.
Until then, Junpei hadn't realized that Santa had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of Seven's fate. Something in his voice made Junpei uncomfortable.
Agreeing? You want to leave him here?
Santa shook his head.
Nah, I'm against it. I don't want to leave Seven here alone.
Then I don't see how it matters.
I said alone.
Huh?
I said I don't want to leave Seven alone.
There was a dull shine in Santa's eyes. They were cold and hard. Junpei felt himself shiver.
What the hell are you?
What? You don't get it? I can't leave just one person. I need 2 more. 3 people, including Seven. I'll be leaving behind 3 people. That's my proposal. No, those are my orders.
What do you mean, orders? What the hell makes you think you can order us around? Who the hell's gonna listen to you?
You all will. In 3 seconds, you won't have a choice.
What?
What?
3, 2, 1.
Santa was so fast, Junpei could barely see him. When he moved, it was almost like watching a dance, his feet moving like lightning. He spun and... What? He had June.
See? I told you.
What? What is happening? His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile.
What?
What? A shudder traveled the length of Junpei's spine. His chest froze and he could feel his breath go stale in his lungs. Nothing made sense. Junpei felt as though his head were about to explode. There's a sudden change in attitude, saying that he needed 2 more. The gun in his right hand, a revolver. Santa had grabbed June from behind and pressed what Junpei's shaken brain identified as a revolver roughly against her temple.
Why? What the hell is that?
Where on earth had Santa possibly found a gun? Junpei's questions roared in his mind, but his mouth refused to ask them. Seven spoke, almost as though he had sensed Junpei's confusion.
The gun's from the other room.
What room?
One of the rooms behind door 6. I should have known he was gonna do this. I should have taken the gun.
Well, it's too late now, fat ass.
Damn it.
A mixture of fury and frustration twisted Seven's face, and he glared at Santa. Santa's oh so evil? Santa, for his part, didn't so much as flinch. The corner of his lip twitched into a slightly wider smile. Then the smile faded and he began to move. He walked backward, dragging June with him. Before long, his back was resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red. He put his hand on the scanner panel quickly and then forced June to do the same.
Now, time for you to start following my orders. Ace, Lotus, congratulations. I've chosen you to come with me. Put your hands in the red.
3 plus 6 plus 1 plus 8 equals 18. That was what Santa had meant when he said he needed 2
Hey,
more.
You deaf? I gave you an order.
Santa's eyes narrowed to slits. He glared at Ace and Lotus. They stayed, frozen like deer caught in the headlights of an oncoming car.
Fine. I didn't want to waste any bullets, but you guys just don't get it.
No sooner were the words out of Santa's mouth than his hand twitched, and the gun roared. A section of the floor exploded, scattering wooden splinters across the floor. A thin plume of smoke snaked out of the hole in the floor. There could have been no doubt that the gun was real and worked.
He really shot it? But why? Santa, why are you...
Clover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief.
Santa, I thought you were one of us. I thought we were friends.
What?
You knew about the leaf words and the 4-leaf clover.
Santa's cheek twitched almost
What
imperceptibly.
the hell is that shit? I've got no idea.
You're lying.
Shut up. Just shut up, you stupid bitch. You want me to put a bullet in your fucking head?
What the fudge, dude? Calm down, brother. Flecks of spit flew from Santa's mouth, his face twisted with rage. Clover recoiled, her eyes wide. When she spoke, her voice was very small.
Santa.
He snorted, then shook his head vigorously and turned to face Ace and Lotus.
All right, assholes. What are you still standing there for? Get over here and scan those bracelets. I don't have all day. Oh, what's the matter? Your hearing's starting to go? Going senile, maybe?
Ace and Lotus still didn't move. It almost seemed as if they couldn't move. June's face was pale behind Santa's arm. Her eyes were wild and her chest heaved with every quick breath, like an animal cornered by a predator. Junpei's mind worked furiously. What were they going to do? Then he realized something. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to
That's
debate.
it.
June's safety was the first priority. That much was obvious. Doing as Santa had commanded meant that she would be safe from at least 2 threats. She wouldn't be shot, and she would leave the ship alive, along with Santa, Ace, and Lotus. There was only one thing for Junpei to do.
It's the only way.
He turned to Ace and Lotus.
Go. Huh?
No way.
Jumpy, what are you saying? If you stay here, you're going to be stuck, Jumpy.
What I don't fully get, like I'm sure they'll explain it later, but what I don't fully get, for one thing, of course, is why he's doing this in general. I also just don't understand why he wasn't okay with Seven's proposal, since he would still leave, and more of them would get off.
And so will Clover and Seven.
I know, but you don't need to worry about us. We'll figure something out. Right, Seven?
Right. You just leave it to us. It's gonna piss me off to do what Santa says, but...
Don't worry about me either. There's still something I have to take care of.
No, no, you can't! Ace, Lotus, don't come over! Don't worry about me, please!
June was almost crying. Junpei walked around behind Ace and Lotus. He gently placed a hand on each of their shoulders and pushed them towards the door. They almost stumbled and righted themselves and took another step, and another. They turned around and Junpei nodded.
All right.
Fine.
Ace and Lotus turned around again and walked slowly toward the door where Santa was waiting for them. After what seemed like an eternity, they stopped in front of the door marked 9. Santa smiled.
All right.
Sniles.
Let's get those hands on the scanner panel. What's the holdup? What? You think I'm fucking around here? I don't give a shit about this girl.
Man, dude, Santa just straight up went
Brad
like
doesn't need
I'm
no.
very mature and I like cussing.
All I need is the bracelet. You get it? Good. Now put your fucking hands on the scanner. I'm not gonna say it.
Veiny arms wrap. Ooh. I like that. He shoved the revolver harder against June's head and she winced.
Fine.
Ace sighed, defeated, and placed his hand on the scanner panel. Lotus went next. Lotus glared at Santa and slammed her hand onto the scanner panel. The 4th asterisk blinked on.
Good job. Now Lotus, pull that lever. As soon as the door opens, you get your ass in there. Try anything stupid, and you know what happens, right?
Damn it.
Junpei could almost hear Lotus's teeth grind. The door slid open. Door number 9 opened at last. It opened with a low, powerful rumble, a drum roll to welcome the chosen few. Lotus and Ace walked through the door, their eyes furious, but defeated. Santa waited until they were all the way inside, then hauled himself and June across the threshold as well.
Later.
Why? Why did he do this? After exactly 9 seconds, the door swung shut. The gust of air it created caused the candles on the altar to flicker and die. Suki Star gets freaking everywhere when you pet her. Sheesh. The room fell silent. Junpei, Clover, and Seven had been left behind. Clover looked down at her hand and traced with her finger the faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. Seven shoved his arms into the front of his overalls and scratched his stomach. No one spoke. That's kind of funny. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. Desperate for something, anything to occupy his mind, Junpei walked to the larger of the 2 9 doors. He stood in front of it and looked at the red. It read engage. He moved to the smaller door. The red read vacant. The digital root of the remaining people was 7. There was no possible way for them to open the door with 9 on it. Junpei touched the surface of the door.
June.
He thought about June, about Akane Kurashiki. Was she safe? That was all that mattered to him. If she was alive, if she had escaped this horrible boat. That was what Junpei prayed for. 7 came up next to him. He pulled off his hat, scratched his head, and sighed.
So, what do you want to do, Junpei?
What do you mean, what do I want to do? What can we do?
Seven opened his mouth to respond when... There we go. Let's go. We gotta find the effing code. A noise echoed through the room. Someone was pounding on something vigorously. It wasn't mechanical. It was certainly human. Junpei and Seven looked at one another.
What the hell is that?
Shh, quiet.
Clover motioned to Seven to be quiet. She put one finger to her lips and closed her eyes in concentration. The three of them listened, trying to determine where the sound was coming from. I do love when the text description effectively is just a repeat of the dialogue.
Hey, I think it's coming from this coffin.
You're right.
Let's open it.
But how?
What are those muscles for? For show?
You're telling me to force it open?
Just shut up and try.
Junpei and Seven grabbed hold of the coffin. They tried to get a good grip with what little purchase they could find, and pulled with all their strength.
Damn it!
Breams their pants.
Man, it won't even budge.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. All that really happened was Snake ended up taking June hostage and then pulling them into the room along with Ace and with Lotus. It seemed to be coming from the coffin. Hey yo, it's coming from the coffin. The sound was in fact coming from the coffin. Their eyes were almost immediately drawn to it. Merry Christmas, every pony.
Yeah, looks like it.
More like Hearthwarming Eve.
Do you think we have to put in the right password or it won't open?
I think so.
Happy Hearthwarming, everybody. Every pony. Sorry. So sorry. The noise wasn't stopping. In fact, it was getting louder.
Whoever or whatever's inside this thing wants out. And now.
I know that. But how?
Without a passcode, I don't think there's much we can do.
Just like that. They couldn't even tell how many numbers the passcode needed to be.
Isn't there a hint somewhere?
Well, let's look for one.
It's just the word hearth and then plural, warming. Unfortunately, there didn't seem to be anything near the coffin. Clover ran to examine the pews, and Seven investigated the desk, but they turned up nothing.
There's nothing here.
Happy
Not making this
Hearthwarming.
easy, are they?
The sound still wouldn't stop. Can Snake... Okay, here's a question for me. Is this thing, like, soundproof? Like, does Snake not hear us? Why does he not say something? It wasn't a noise that belonged in that room.
What's the passcode? What am I supposed to do? How can we figure it out? I need something.
Okay, no chewing. The world blinked. What? Suddenly there was a voice inside of Junpei's head. Truth had gone, and truth had gone. And now truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand.
Wait, what?
The FBI is in that coffin?
That voice.
Is this like some like alternate universe, like parallel universe connection thing going on here? Junpei was utterly and completely baffled.
Huh? What?
What's up?
Seven and Clover ran over to him, but Junpei didn't know what to tell them.
Huh?
If he told them he'd heard a voice, they'd laugh, or worse, think he was going insane. So all he said was...
Nothing.
He cleared his throat a little too loud and looked pointedly down at his bracelet. Grins bigly. There were a pair of small buttons protruding from either side of it. Junpei. He pressed the buttons. Shoot, what is it again? It's left, right, left, right, left, right, right? That's wrong. You should know that already. You should know everything. If you don't, then why did you bother to look at the bracelet? You already know that the darkness of the sinister hand is telling you to look at the bracelet on your left hand. That's why you looked at your bracelet, right? Okay, that's... Oops. And it's right, left, right, left, right, left. That was it. Eight numbers blinked on and then off on the bracelet display. Junpei checked one last time. 1, 4, 3, 8. 3, 4, 2, 1.
1, 4.
Huh?
Huh?
Hey, what the hell were those numbers?
Oh my gosh. Are those?
Junpei didn't answer. He simply walked straight to the coffin. Let's go! He knelt down in front of the keypad, running over the numbers in his head so that he wouldn't forget.
14383421. 14383421.
So there was all this discussion throughout the game about like communication across distance, but communication across dimensions. With trembling fingers, he punched them in. This was your phone password in high school? I'm gonna go back in time and hack into your high school phone now. That was all of them. He punched the E button. There was a moment of complete silence. And there was the sound of the coffin lid unlatching. Someone sat up out of it.
No way. Why are you...
Oh, Clover.
Is that you, Clover? I apologize for worrying you. Snake!
You? Why?
Junpei? And Seven? Is that you? Is everyone else there as well?
Just like Rip Van Winkle. I'm sorry? Still, it was very much like Snake to simply cut to the heart of the matter and ask. The F is Rip Van Winkle.
Jeez.
Yeah, happy ice cream. Junpei and Seven shared a wry smile. Clover's eyes were filled with tears.
You're back!
Aw, Clover. With a cry of joy, she leapt into Snake's arms. Aw, that's sweet.
Gently now. My body's still a little weak.
Oh, you're back!
Clover looked like nothing so much as a lost child who had finally found her home. She cried and cried and cried. Her eyes were red and her nose was running. She hiccuped and gasped as if she were about to begin hyperventilating.
You're back! You're really here!
Her voice was happy but almost desperate, as if she feared he would disappear again if she stopped talking to him. Tear after tremendous tear rolled its way down her face. Her small arms strained as she clutched Snake's body as tightly as she could. Perhaps she had convinced herself he was real. Perhaps she was worried he would be gone the moment she let go. Perhaps she simply didn't know what else to do.
You're back!
Come now, what's gotten into you? You're acting as though I've returned from the grave.
Not as though. You did. I really thought you were dead.
Huh?
Huh?
You jerk! Idiot! Idiot!
Ah. Clover broke into sobs so great she could no longer talk. It was a touching reunion between brother and sister. Even though Junpei knew they had little time and every minute they waited was a minute they wasted, it felt cruel to pull them apart. Junpei and Seven, took a year in the way, sat down on one of the pews, waiting for Clover to calm down before explaining to Snake what had transpired.
I see. I believe I understand things rather well now. Thank you.
Thank
In the
you.
shower room, there is a dead body wearing my clothes. Because of that, you thought that I was dead, correct?
He had quickly and neatly summarized the events of several hours. Junpei
You
nodded.
also discovered a corpse in the captain's quarters, and Santa turned on you here, in this room. Do I have it straight?
Well, the dead body in the captain's quarters is a surprise.
Sorry, there wasn't a good time to tell you.
Don't worry about it.
Well then. I've got a pretty decent idea of what happened while I was indisposed, but it's still something of a mystery who did all this, and why. The corpse in
true.
the shower room that looked like me, and the corpse in the captain's quarters. Why were they killed in the way they were?
You don't know?
No. Why would I?
The guy in the shower room. We don't know who he is, so let's just call him Mr. X. Anyway, this Mr. X is wearing Snake's clothes. But you're wearing some kind of weird robes. That means someone took your clothes and put them on Mr. X. We need to figure out who that was.
I apologize, but I have no idea who might have done this to me. I only just now woke up. I was unconscious during all the events you just described to me. They must have undressed me and changed my clothes during that time.
When were you knocked out?
When we split up to look for the red.
Where did they get you? Do you remember?
It was a small room in one of the hallways on C deck.
What happened?
The same thing that happened to every one of us when we were abducted. A canister releasing some sort of gas was thrown into the room. I believe the gas is some sort of incapacitating agent.
Then that means it was...
Zero.
Looks that way, huh?
There's nothing else I have to tell you. When I woke up, I was in this coffin.
That's so fucking terrifying, dude. Junpei crossed his arms and thought.
Why? Why did Zero make Mr. X wear Snake's clothes? How would that benefit Zero? I don't get it. What the hell does any of it mean? And I have no idea how I got the passcode for the coffin either. Truth had gone, and truth had gone. Where did those words come from? Why did I feel compelled to push the buttons on the bracelet after hearing them?
Seven had asked him about it while they waited for Clover to finish crying. He had no answer for him then, and he still didn't.
All I know is my fingers moved on their own. It was like I did it subconsciously. I don't get it. What the hell does any of it mean?
His mind was a maelstrom of mysteries, clues, theories, and more mysteries. He could barely think.
Also, Snake and Clover had been subjects in a similar experiment 9 years ago.
The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. The first, and someone... her name was...
There had been another experiment conducted on this same ship 9 years ago, and a girl had died during it. Morphogenetic field theory. The 2 murders. Switching clothes. The nonary game.
Whatever strange thing was happening to Junpei himself. The maelstrom in his head spat out words and ideas that disappeared back into it almost as soon as he grasped them. But as he struggled through them, Junpei began to realize something. There was something that tied all of them together, and the point connecting the dots.
Zero. He's the ringleader. The person who trapped 9 of us on this sinking ship. Zero should know everything. If we can uncover Zero's identity, all of our questions will be answered.
Who was Zero? Junpei had the beginnings of a theory. If he could only test it, or perhaps...
At any rate, we'll have plenty of time to decipher the details later. For now, it is of utmost importance that we escape. Junpei, it was 4:30 the last time you checked the clock, yes? That means we have less than an hour. We must hurry.
Hey, how are we gonna get out of here?
Isn't that obvious? Through the other number 9 door.
Oh yeah, you're right. With Snake, we can open the door.
Don't tell me you hadn't figured that out.
As they sniped back and forth, Junpei glanced at Snake's left hand. He was wearing a bracelet with a 2 on it.
Come on, you gotta tell me these things.
I, assumed you'd figured it out.
Forget it. Let's just get going.
I love Seven. Seven stomped off toward the smaller number 9 door. Clover, Snake, and Junpei followed. Seven quickly laid his hand on the red. An asterisk appeared on the screen. Junpei and the others followed suit and laid their hands on the scanner panel. Soon there were 4 asterisks on the screen. Seven glanced at them, then laid his hand on the lever of the red.
All right, you guys ready to go?
Yes.
Seven might be my favorite character, actually. Junpei paused for a moment.
Huh?
Before we go in, I'd like to check something.
You want to check something?
Yeah, but before I do, Seven, could you pull the lever? I want to make sure we can verify with just the 4 of us.
Jeez, he's just so funny.
What do you mean? We don't...
He's like so earnest.
Just do it, all right? But if the door opens, don't go in yet, okay? Please, this is really important. I really need to check this, okay? Work with me here.
Junpei looked directly into Seven's eyes. The older man looked back for a moment, then nodded. Hey, what is Junpei verifying here? Seven pulled down on the lever and the door 9 creaked open. Then they waited. 6, 7, 8, 9. After 9 seconds, the door closed.
All right, that means the 4 of us can go into door 9.
So, we knew that already. It's obvious.
Obvious. Yeah. You're right. It is. Now, what happens if we add Zero's bracelet?
What?
Zero's bracelet?
Why don't you take it out, Clover?
For a moment, Clover looked surprised, but she recovered quickly and stuck her tongue out at Junpei.
So you did know I had it. I picked it up because I thought it might be useful sometime.
She reached into one of her pockets. The pockets of her voluminous jacket and produced a bracelet. Junpei took it from her and handed it to Seven. And turned to
This
Seven.
is on the left hand of the corpse in the captain's quarters. If you look at it, you can see it's got a 0 on the face.
Voluptuous.
Just to make this a little easier to talk about, I'm gonna call the guy we found dead in the captain's quarters, Cap. Then I should be able to open door 9 with just me, Clover, and his bracelet. Though the big question is, if Cap is the mastermind of this game, will he really put one of these bracelets on? Anyway, let's just give it a shot. Clover, give me your hand.
Okay.
Now the captain's bracelet. And pull the lever.
However, the door didn't open. The red's display read error.
I knew it. Now, what does this tell us?
Maybe the bracelet has to be on your wrist in order for it to work?
No, that's impossible. Did you see how the panel showed a 3rd asterisk when I scanned Cap's bracelet? Whether or not it's on your wrist doesn't matter. All you have to do is put the bracelet near the panel for it to register.
Seven waved his bracelet in front of the scanner panel. Sure enough, a single asterisk appeared on the red.
Huh. Looks like you're right.
See? So what does that mean? There's only one possibility.
That bracelet isn't the number 0. Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
Then what number is it?
Let's find out.
Junpei. Scan the bracelets with this combination. So the captain is 5, so we need 2. We need a 9 in total. So we need. Let's see. That's 2 plus. What is Clover again? Clover's 4, right? Yeah, 2 plus 4, so that'd be 6 plus 5. That would be 11. 1 plus 1 equals 2. So we need Junpei. Junpei is 5 as well, right? So 5 plus 5 is 10. That's 1 plus. That's 7. Let's try this. 7 plus. So 5 plus 5 would be 1 plus 0, which is 1. And then that would be 8. No. Let's do 7, 4. I'll just do this.
Let's try 7 Clover. If this combination...
No, that didn't work.
Nope.
It ain't 7 then.
How about...
Okay, snakes, that's 2, 4, plus 7. That would be 6, 11. That would be 2 plus 5. Is it 5? I feel like it's not 5. I don't think any of these work with 5.
Let's try... If this combination...
Oh, would that be 5? I must have messed up. I guess that one is it. Wait, what?
It didn't open.
Oh, it's 6. Okay. So in that case, it would be, I think this one, right? So that's 7 plus 5, which is 11. That's 2 plus 6. Okay, that's only 8. Whereas this one would be 2 plus 5, which is 7 plus 6, which is not it. So it's this one then, I think. 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 7 is 14. 1 plus 5 equals 5 plus 6. Is it this one? 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 6 would be 3. I don't know, man. My brain's not working right now.
If this combination...
Okay, I think I was doing the digital route wrong. It is this one. There we go.
Hey, it opened! The door opened!
What? Why? What does that mean?
Both Seven and Clover seemed rather shaken as they turned to look at Junpei for answers. The door slid heavily shut. Junpei raised an
Isn't it
eyebrow.
obvious? Cap's bracelet is number 6.
But doesn't it say 0?
This isn't a 0. The symbol on here isn't a number 0. It's a letter O.
Oh.
Oh?
Whoa, wait a minute. I don't get it. I mean, we figured out that Cap's bracelet is 6, right?
Yeah.
Does that mean there are 2 people with 6s?
Before Junpei could answer, Snake spoke up.
There is most likely only one person with a 6.
But I don't get it. What about June?
Well, this is only an educated guess, but I think June's number was never 6 to begin with.
Huh?
Her bracelet was flipped. In other words, June's real number is...
9.
What?
That seems the most likely.
Then all this numbered door stuff was just a load of crap?
Why would you say that?
Huh?
Because if June is 9, then the numbers
Yeah.
wouldn't match up.
Clover grabbed Junpei's notebook and began to write furiously in it.
Here, look.
Junpei leaned over to look at
List
it.
of all the
And then
numbered
what about the
doors
number
June's
9
gone
man?
through.
I'll let you know what I'm writing, okay, Snake? And that's everything. I wrote down which door she went into and with whom. And I wrote what all the numbers were. So if you switch 9 in wherever there's a 6, the numbers don't work. If the digital root is 7, then you can't open door 4. If the digital root is 2, then you can't open door 8.
Clover, do you notice anything interesting on that list?
What do you mean?
You're talking about 3, right?
3?
Santa's always in the room with her. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
What about
Huh.
it?
That's quite simple, really. You told me that the first time you came to this room, Santa was the first to refuse to leave June behind. Now, doesn't that beg the question why? Why would Santa do such a thing? The answer is easy. Because Santa can't open door 9 with only 7 and Lotus. Of course, there's only one reason for that. His number isn't actually 3.
What?
Santa's real number, 7? Would you be so kind as to modify my sister's equations?
Yeah, sure.
7 took the pin from a confused Clover and began to adjust her calculations.
This is what you were getting at, right, Snake?
He read out the changes he'd made. When he finished, he looked at Snake. Snake smiled.
Thank you. That is exactly right, 7. Santa's true number wasn't 3. It was 0.
What? What?
No way. Santa is 0?
And June was 9, not 6. Conversely, Santa was 0, not 3. Plus 3 and minus 3, they cancel one another out. Nothing appears out of order.
Santa was still playing by the rules of the notary game this whole time.
Precisely.
So you're saying Santa planned this whole thing?
I'm not sure if he acted alone or not, but I think it is safe to conclude that he is 0. If my hypothesis is correct.
I wasn't expecting that. Clover bit her lip. She seemed to be having some difficulty believing her brother's explanation. Which would mean that he would know who Ace was. So is Ace going to be dead when we get through this door? Junpei remained silent and thought.
Snake's hypothesis. Something doesn't seem right. June's bracelet being flipped. Even if that were possible, that would mean there are 2 number 9 bracelets. And if that's the case...
Yeah.
All right, that's enough talking. Let's go. It's high time we went through that door.
Yeah, we still have the issue of the 2 number 9 bracelets. Even if there's a number 6 bracelet, even if the 9th man's bracelet was really number 6, then there's still 2 6 bracelets because we have the 1 bracelet that's a 0. Or an O. Well, I still don't get why an O is 6, but...
It's right there.
The dead was directly in front of them as they came to the door. Quickly, they scanned their bracelets. And the detonator stopped.
Oh.
Hexadecimal only goes up to F. After pausing for a moment to catch their collective breath, Junpei and his companions headed down the long hallway in front of them.
All right, let's keep going.
At the end was a set of stairs leading down into the ship.
I think these stairs go to the bottom deck.
You could do it with base 64, but base 64, O would definitely not be 6. They leaned out and looked over the side.
Try.
Let's head down.
After deciding it was safe, they headed down the stairs. Before long, Junpei and his companions found themselves on the bottom deck. They turned left into another hallway, at the end of which they found another door.
Hey, it's a...
And of course, there was a symbol engraved over the keyhole. It looked like the sort of harpoon one would use to hunt fish, the kind with 3 prongs. Snake traced the shape of it with his fingers.
This is the Neptune symbol. There must be a key around here somewhere.
Neptune key. I only have the Uranus key card.
Clearly, it wasn't going to open this door.
It's a different planet. Plus, it's the wrong kind of key.
Let's turn around and go back for now.
Yeah.
After examining the door for a few more minutes, they gave up and headed back the way they'd come.
Hey, another door.
A little more searching, they found a middle door.
And a card reader this time.
A symbol was engraved onto the card
It's the
reader.
Uranus symbol.
This is the place.
He muttered to himself and slid the card through the reader. It beeped once and the light on it turned green. With a heavy middle groan, the door creaked open. Junpei, Clover, Snake, and Seven looked at one another, nodded, and stepped through. The room they found themselves in was full of books.
Wow! It's
Ooh.
totally full of books!
There's so many.
Another escape room.
I don't know where to look.
It looked remarkably like a library. Not the sort of library where large numbers of people came to read books. More the sort of library that was simply a place to store books. He was a little overwhelmed by the sheer number of books, but Junpei did his best to speak with authority.
All right, if we want to get through that door out there, we need the Neptune key. I say we split up and look for it.
Okay.
Very well.
Sure thing.
This is what happened to those rich people in that submarine that one
Good.
time.
Let's get started then. We don't have a lot of time. Hurry.
Is it? Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the forest of knowledge. As he began to search for reasons he didn't fully understand, Junpei felt those particular words float through his mind. Played the no-narrate game. New escape room, let's go. There's a note on that table. Lights to the books. Oh, what does that mean? Interesting. Well, intelligence often hides itself in darkness. Have you ever thought about the pages of a book? Each page only sees, what, maybe 2 or 3 minutes of light before the reader is on to the next. They spend the rest of their lives locked in darkness. Rather like myself. That's horrible. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. Not at all. I live in the darkness, yes. But that has gifted me with the ability to catch the truths others might miss. I can hear the voices hidden in the darkness, you might say. Lights to the books. Handrail made of metal. It's a coat rack, like a place where you can hang coats and hats and stuff. Well, this one's not too big, so maybe just hats. What's to do with these titles? They're all just gibberish. Hey, what if we, switch them around? Switch them around? Yeah, if we move them around, maybe they'll spell something. Oh, I get it. Yeah, heck, it's worth a shot. Oops. Open here, find bulb. And by it, I mean the other contestants with an axe so I can take their bracelets. Open this thing right up. Oh, that was a piece of cake. Hooray! You did it, Junpei! I guess that turned out well enough. So the letters from the title spelled out, open here, find bulb. Are property values going up out in space too these days? Man, guess times are tough for aliens too. This one says cosmic inflation. They're just talking about superstring theory. It's a theory of reality where, how to explain? It says that all elements of the universe are governed by the vibrations and harmonics of tiny supersymmetric strings. What's this? An overview of conformal field theory. Ah, well, it's a theory that posits an invariant quantum field where conformal transformation can take place. Knock it off with the science voodoo stuff. You trying to put me to sleep? Theory of general relativity, huh? Oh, I know this one. That's Einstein, right? All that's here is Faraday's law of electrolysis. I believe that's going to be about electrolysis in an electrolyte solution. These particular laws were set down by Michael Faraday. Okay. Might be similar to sonic inflation. Okay. Mods, could we unmod Aaron? Dad Kindy 1, Owen 1, Owen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pythagorean theorem. This is a famous one. Sounds like there are a number of math books in this section. Algebraic number theory. Okay. How am I gonna read all these? Maybe I will read this one. A wild guess is that the other three would be here as well. Looks like I was right. I mean, why is that funny, Clover? This one's Goldbox Conjecture. Conjecture? What's it about? Like magic or psychic stuff or something? Right, I bet it's about jewelry, isn't it? It may have an odd title, but it's actually a very respectable mathematics book. It deals with one of the unsolved problems of additive number theory. Sorry I said anything. Look, let's not get into this right now, okay? A small enclosure with 9 sides. There are 3 of these things that look kind of like music stands. Am I supposed to put something on those stands? This bookshelf has sort of a glass inlay. Pretty big, but there's only 6 books on it. That seems kind of weird. Hey, it looks like there's something on the bottom. I can't really see it though. The glass is all foggy. Did I make a mistake doing this? Did I make a mistake saying I was going to finish the game today? Don't you think a random book like that is kind of suspicious? Maybe you ought to hold on to it. Never trust me? What's Hellenism? I think it's something like a fusion of Greek and Oriental culture. History of the medieval period. Maybe it's about Sir Lancelot? Isn't he just a story? I don't think you're gonna find a guy who didn't really exist in a history book. There's just also a lot of books. Okay, history of Buddhism. Okay. This is a picture book from earlier with pop-ups. Okay, now I got a picture book. I don't know if any of this stuff is actually relevant. Oh. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Owen, huh? Owen isn't enough to go on. Perhaps it's about the English Revolutionary. Dad kind. What the hell is this? Wasn't that a German mathematician? Maybe it's a compilation of his work. Leibniz. This book is in German. It looks like it's the complete works of something. Never heard of it. Well, if Snake doesn't know what it is, I don't think we'll ever know. Sheldrake? Sheldrake. Isn't Sheldrake... Tell me, I don't know who Sheldrake is, dude. So many books, I wonder what this one's... Whoa, what's this? Warm? Oh, sorry. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Hey, what's to do with this sappy stuff? Modern Japanese literature. Hey, there's another one of those picture books here. Something about these things feels kind of nice, you know? Brings back good memories. I guess some people like 7 were kids once. No shit, you little brats. Hey guys, cool it. Alright, I think I'm gonna take this picture book with me. I am skipping some of this stuff that doesn't seem super relevant. I apologize. Okay. There are 3 lights on this thing. Yeah, well, it'll get a lot brighter, but if there are 3 lights, that means 3 light bulbs. There won't be much point unless we can replace all 3 bulbs. We need 3 light bulbs, huh? Okay, so we need to find the light bulbs first. In the middle of the glass door is a cylinder lock. You know, the kind of lock where you rotate the numbers around until you're the right one. You've got the right ones to open it. What the hell is this? It's like they just gave us the answer. I might as well give it a shot. Oh, 632416. I didn't even notice that. 6, 3, 2, 4, 1. I thought it was 4 and 6. You did it, Junpei! Yay! I don't know why, but I don't really feel particularly happy by being praised for that. Whatever, at least the lock's open now. Let's see if we can get it open, alright? All 6 books seem to be pointing at the cylinder number lock. Okay, second powerful light bulb. Cool. Says Dadkind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Everything in this room kind of looks exactly the effing same, so... Ammonites are pretty nasty looking. Mother Nature. Is some sort of book about hippie chicks? Probably not, except perhaps tangentially. It's most likely about environmental problems. I was just trying to make a joke. Dude, hippie chicks? Really? The theory of evolution. Heck, even I know this one. This is that Darwin guy, right? Well, yes and no. Charles Darwin wrote a book called On the Origin of Species. In it, he put forth his theory of evolution. Yeah, I remember that part. He called it natural selection. Exactly. Theories of the Cambrian explosion? Did a bomb go off near somewhere called Cambria? Wrong kind of explosion. Roughly 500 million years ago, during what is known as the Cambrian period, research suggests that the variety of living organisms increased by an order of magnitude. Why that happened is, however, still something of a mystery. There are a number of theories. This book is most likely a collection of them. Okay, enough. Why did mankind lose their tails? That's a great question. Anything in the middle here? Transition of extinct species. We need to hurry it up. We're going to end up in the pages of a book like that. I'm missing a light bulb somewhere. Kitab al-Azif. Man, they've got some weird stuff here. I can't even pronounce this one. Huh. Interesting. hell? I could even want to swap bodies with a little brat like... Hey, were you just imagining it? You were! Shut up! Yeah, well, he wasn't the only one. Bro! Yeah, I have no idea. It's also kind of annoying because I don't know if any of these things are important, but this is a lot of information. Ouch. Hidden behind the books? Oh, there's a light bulb. I almost didn't even see that. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna change these bulbs. Now they should... Whoa, those light bulbs really make a difference. It's pretty bright in there now. Are the books not the ones you're supposed to put in here? Wow, it's so bright now. It's almost blinding. All right, that means we just have to do this. It says shine light on the books. Am I stupid? No, I'm definitely not going to finish the game tonight. What? I want to just finish this room and then I'm probably going to call it. I think I was misled about how much time the game would take. Lights to the books. Yeah, shaking my dang head, dude. I have 3 books. There's 3 stands. I don't know what these are supposed to be for. I don't see anything any way that these are relevant. There are 3 looking like music stands. But it's not the books. Okay. Got a magic wand on it. Okay. So, what's inside? Well, aren't you going to open it? Pretty sure it's just gonna have pages inside, smart. Whoa! Okay. Okay, I didn't expect to have to open those up. Small enclosure with 9 sides. Well, how about we try putting these picture books on the stands? Then... Awesome! It looks like it worked. Way to go, Junpei. Good job, buddy. There's something projecting on the bottom. These letters, they seem familiar. Shelled Rake _5? Oh, Sheldrake 5. Hello? Sheldrake 5. Yes. Sheldrake 5. Eh? I don't know what to do. Am I supposed to be interacting with this? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Like, Sheldrake 5 would lead me to believe this is the important book I should be clicking on. Got the volume number written on the lower part of the spine. Sheldrake 5.
Sheldrake
I have to click on it first?
I think I saw the rest of this collection somewhere.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere around here.
Let's go take a look.
Okay.
Sheldrake.
Have you heard of him? Sheldrake, I mean.
Yeah, Lotus told me about him.
There's a British biochemist named Sheldrake. He has a rather interesting theory, morphogenetic fields, which relies on the theory of morphic resonance.
Really? From Lotus, huh?
Well, Clover also said something to me about that stuff.
She did?
Yeah, what was it?
The
I
ability
might
to access a morphogenetic
end
field
up
is
streaming
affected by
again
a
on
couple of
Friday because I
things.
really just want to finish this game before I go on vacation,
The first is epiphany, and the other is danger.
or maybe even earlier tomorrow or something.
That girl. I told her not to tell anyone.
You did? Why?
No, I said Friday.
Well,
Look, man, I didn't push it because we're in a hurry, but I'm kind of sick of this. How about you just tell me, okay?
tell you what?
Don't give me that. About the experiment.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Very
Oh, you're
well,
right. We do have a
fine.
movie tomorrow.
I'll tell you everything. But not here. Let's move to the top floor.
Maybe Saturday then. We'll see.
I suppose I might as well start by telling you why I kept quiet, and why I made sure Clover did as well. To be honest, the explanation is quite simple. Zero told me not to. He didn't walk up and tell me, of course. He gave me a message engraved on a card.
Yes, we're watching the movie tomorrow, and then on Friday, we've got Naruto. Snake reached into his sleeve and pulled out a small, stiff piece of paper.
That's a Braille card. It looks just like the one you showed us earlier. So you had 2 cards.
No, only one.
Huh? What do you mean? I thought that card just had some rules for the nonary game on it.
Yes, it did, and those were the rules I read you. However, they were not the only thing on the card. There was something I didn't read. Well, perhaps I should say, there was something I couldn't read.
And that was?
Tell no one of the events that took place 9 years ago. Tell, and I activate your sister's detonator.
What?
It's a threat on our lives.
Oh. Well,
Snake nodded.
What about Clover? Did she get a message from Zero too?
I don't believe she did. But doesn't it strike you as strange that Zero would shut my mouth, but not hers?
Yeah, that is strange.
To be on the safe side, however, I told her it was best not to tell anyone. Still, apparently she told you. That girl.
What's wrong with her telling me? I figured some stuff out with the things she told me. I mean, it looks like the whole activate her detonator thing was just a bluff. She's prancing around downstairs happy as a clam now that you're back.
Snake glanced down at Clover and Seven, examining one of the bookshelves.
That's very true. I've decided I can trust you. I've decided to tell you the truth. The chance that Santa is Zero is very high. I feel I can assume Santa doesn't have the time to observe us at the moment. And at any rate, even if he were, I very much doubt he would kill us.
Why?
Clover told me about the 4-leaf clover, about the words. If he knew about that, then he was in my group during the first experiment. I'm sure of it. He wouldn't kill us, no matter what the situation was.
Snake paused and cocked his head as though he was listening to something very far away. His face looked dark, as though something was weighing on him.
Snake?
Junpei wasn't quite sure what to say. Snake turned and looked at him.
Yes, I know. You want to know what happened during the experiment.
Yeah.
How much do you know?
Clover told me about...
I see. The morphogenetic field in the experiments 9 years prior. How the experiments had taken place simultaneously at 2 locations, one being the ship and the other being a building in Nevada. And the girl that died during the experiment. She told you all that, did she?
Snake looked down. His face was tight. A slight tremor shook his body and he tried to hide it. He was putting on a good front, but even Junpei could tell that he was holding back something deep and powerful. He made as if to brush something from his face and looked up at Junpei.
At any rate, I now know how much you've learned. All that remains for us to determine
is who did this and why, right?
Yes.
Can you tell me what happened?
Yes.
Snake nodded
The
slowly.
people who organized the initial experiment were from a company called Cradle Pharmaceuticals. There were 4 of them running the show. Gentaro Hongo, Nagisa Nijisaki, Teruaki Kubota, Kagechika Musashido. Hongo was the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Nijisaki was his right-hand man, and did the lion's share of the planning. Kubota led the company's research and development division.
Isn't this the ninth man?
Musashido was their majority stockholder.
Did I know that already? I feel like I forgot that.
People who planned the initial experiment. Let me simplify it for you. Hongo designed it, and Nijisaki put it all together. Kubota developed the technology required, and Musashido provided the cash.
So it's Hongo, Nijisaki, Kubota, Musashido.
Junpei couldn't shake the sense that he had heard those 4 names somewhere before.
Of course, more than 4 people were required to conduct an experiment of this scale. To that end, they organized a top-secret team to assist them with their research.
We don't know who these 2 people are, right?
All in all, they gathered 10
The game is chugging so badly for some reason.
Those 10 completed their team, and they were able to begin the project. They named it the Nonori Project. The purpose of the experiment was to research the prospect of controlling a human mind through sheer will. The vessel, I suppose you could say, for this control was the morphogenetic field. Why did the glycerin suddenly begin to crystallize? Why did the crystal structure of EDT undergo a sudden change? Why did the rats improve their puzzle-solving skills with each generation? Experiments with humans produced the same results. The more people who knew the answer to a question, the more there were who could answer correctly without having seen the problem before. Why is that? How could it happen? The answer is that the shape of the answer has been stored in a field invisible to the naked eye. And through that field, the resonant event transmits information related to that answer. That's essentially the idea behind morphogenetic fields.
But that's just a theory.
Can't bring yourself
A
to
game theory.
Yeah.
Let's say someone killed another person because the devil told them to do it. Whether the devil exists or not has no relevance to the murder. They believe the devil exists. Whether or not he does is immaterial.
So what matters here is that Hongo believes in the morphogenetic field.
That's right.
Snake
I
nodded.
still don't get it. You said they wanted to figure out how to control people, right? That is what you were saying.
Yes.
So how are they going to do that with a morphogenetic field?
I'll keep it simple. Let's suppose 10,000 people have solved a certain problem. The chance of you knowing that answer, even if no one has told you, will go up. Let's have another example, shall we? Say 1 million people were to do a handstand right now. Tomorrow, the chances of you doing a handstand would be higher, even if you had heard nothing of this hypothetical mass handstanding. Mankind's thought process and actions are all part of a resonant event. All of the resonant events encoded in the fields are projected onto you. Of course, this assumes you believe in this theory.
Exit
Do you
out.
follow so far?
Yeah.
Now, if there was a person who had the same effect as those millions of people, what would happen? If that one person were to do a handstand, other people would find themselves wanting to do handstands as well. Can you imagine what a person with powers like that would be able to do?
Come on, there's no way.
I'm not done. Imagine another scenario. Imagine another person. This is an ordinary person. Let's say he does a handstand. What if there was someone who could grab the resonant event he created by doing that and use it to make other people do handstands? What would happen then? A person who has the power to write to the field, and someone who can read from the same. You could think of them as the writer and the reader, or the transmitter and the receiver.
It's like some like semaphore logic. What are we doing here? Computer science.
With abilities like these.
Junpei thought about it for a moment.
So the transmitter's resonant event can be transmitted through the field and sent to the receiver. And then the transmitter can control the receiver however they wish. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes. Close enough, at least.
Come on, that's just crazy.
Well, if you want to prove that, then you'll have to test it first. At least, that was how they thought. That was why they decided to do their experiment. That was how the Nonori Project began.
Snake suddenly looked very serious.
By the way, Junpei, have you ever heard of the Gansfeld experiment?
Junpei cleared his throat and tried to act
that was an
calm.
experiment in telepathy, right? You place a pair of subjects in separate rooms. Then you show one a picture and ask the other what they see.
Interesting. I'm impressed. Yes, that is exactly correct.
Bro, just learned about that a few hours
Why
ago.
did you bring up the Gansfeld experiment?
It was used to screen subjects for the Nonary Project. The hospital in a remote town was affiliated with Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Hongo used it to conduct experiments on visiting children in secret. Some of them, he found, had potential. He began to gather children that showed promise. Children that seemed as though they might be able to access the field. Of course, none of them volunteered. They were...
Isn't this man the captain? Was this man the guy who died? And is this the guy who effing got blown up?
There were 9
His
pairs
face
of
barely
siblings
moved as he
taken
spoke.
For 18 children total. For reasons that were not fully understood at the time, each pair had 1 transmitter and 1 receiver. They were split perfectly. As such, the 18 children were split into 2 groups of 9. The children who were put into Group Q were the ones who excelled at transmitting. They were transferred to the mock experiment building known as Building Q in the Nevada desert. The children who excelled at receiving were put in Group A. Group A was then placed on the former hospital ship Gigantic. From the experiments he had conducted so far, Hongo had learned the following. There are 2 things that can increase one's resonance with the field. The first
How long is this
epiphany.
cutscene, by the way?
The other is danger. Have you ever been faced with an especially difficult problem and thought about it very long and very hard until finally an answer suddenly appeared in your mind? It may seem obvious to say so,
Forever.
but that is what is meant by epiphany. The information obtained
I
through
regret
that
this
epiphany
decision.
can be easily transmitted through the fields, where it can be easily interpreted. Adding danger to that equation allows for even easier field access. That's where Hongo came in. They set up a number of puzzles across the Gigantic. The participants had to
Stop
solve
showing
each
this picture. It
one
makes the game
before they could
lag
move
so
to the
bad.
next room. Of course, he hadn't forgotten to include danger. He had detonated a bomb on the hull of the Gigantic. The children in Group A were forced to play the Nonary game as the ship sunk. By forcing the children into a life-or-death situation, Hongo hoped to increase the likelihood of their tapping into the fields.
Yeah, I should have to keep watching until another
The
you in a
children
different
from Group
timeline knows the
Q, on
information
other
and can
hand,
proceed.
were confined to the mock experiment building, Building Q. Building Q duplicated the interior and puzzles of the Gigantic exactly. Every detail was exactly the same. Hongo explained the situation to the children in Group Q. Solve the puzzles you find throughout the rooms. When you have the answers, transmit that information to the children in Group A. If you succeed, they will be able to solve the puzzles and escape. But if you fail, then the Gigantic will sink, and your brothers and sisters will drown. Those were his orders. Do you know why the astronauts of Apollo 13 were able to return to Earth safely?
That's pretty
It was
fucked up.
because NASA had access to a replica of the Apollo 13 capsule. All of the equipment, the instruments, everything. All of it identical. Everything was just like the real Apollo 13. NASA was able to replicate the situation the astronauts found themselves in. By putting themselves in the same situation, they attempted to solve the problems the astronauts were dealing with. Once they found solutions, they reported their findings to the men aboard the actual capsule. That was how they were able to return safely.
Hey, what's up, Bafo?
It was the same with the Gigantic and Building Q. The children from Group Q had to use the power of epiphany to solve the puzzles they found and transmit what they learned through the fields. The children in Group A, however, they had to access the fields to learn how they might advance to the next stage.
You understand? Did you not understand before?
That is
What do you
the
understand?
simplest explanation I can manage.
Snake sounded defeated. His half-hearted attempt at derision served only to show how much the story had affected him.
Huh.
You're at work? Oh, just as Junpei was about to speak.
Hey, Junpei, Snake! How much longer are you two gonna sit around on those bony asses?
I fucking love Seven.
Get down here already!
Seven's voice echoed from below. Snake took a deep breath and blinked rapidly as if just waking up from a long nap.
He's right. Let's go, shall we? We don't have much time. We need to get...
Oops. Snake headed for the stairs, but Junpei put out an arm to stop
it.
him.
There's one more thing I want to ask you.
Junpei, please.
Are you sure that there were 18 kids?
Why?
Well, I thought it was only 16.
Oh, yes. That was what they said on the news, wasn't it? Yes, I have no doubt that 18 children were abducted and used in Hongo's experiment. After all, you couldn't exactly play a nonary game with any less, could you?
Well, yeah, but are you saying that the news got it wrong?
Yes, I am. There were 2 more children. However, they had no relatives that I'm aware of. I imagine no one filed a police report when they went missing. They were brother and sister, like Clover and I. The brother's name was Aoi. The sister's name was... Her name was...
They couldn't seem to bring himself to continue. It looked as if what he was about to say brought him great
Her
pain.
name was Akane.
What?
That was the girl who died.
Junpei felt as if he'd been punched in the stomach. His vision went blurry and his head felt light.
Akane Kurashiki died 9 years ago? Then, who is June? No. That's impossible. It can't be true. Akane isn't that uncommon of a name. If Snake had known her last name, that's a different matter entirely. So they share a name. A lot of other people do too. It doesn't mean anything. It was someone else. Of course it was.
What? Junpei shook his head hard and pulled himself back to reality.
Is something wrong, Junpei? Your breathing sounds strange.
Then Snake had noticed. Junpei cleared his throat and tried to act calm.
No, it's nothing. I'm fine. Let's get back down there, all right?
Snake raised an eyebrow, but said nothing. He headed down the stairs, Junpei bringing up the rear.
I couldn't do it. Why didn't I ask? What's her last name? I just couldn't get the words to come out.
With every step he took, the cold, hard sound of feeding its middle dug at his heart. Alright, I'm gonna save here. And then we'll come back another time. Oh, I don't want to stop playing, but like it's 10:41, dude. I gotta go shower. Also, Ian, why are you so, like, I'm so glad you're here, Sybil. How are you still awake? Don't you have work? What? This freaking guy. Huh? Hold on, let me get this picture of Suki that I forgot to show, or didn't really forget to show, but didn't have time to show earlier. Yeah, I'm so excited for the Naruto Symphonic experience. It's gonna be so good. Tomorrow you have a Christmas party, so it's a chill day? Okay. I just wanna be a part of your symphony. Here's Suki. Here's a little Suki to take you into tomorrow and the days that come. Oh wait, there's stream art. Sheesh. I don't know if I can show this on stream. Kind of inappropriate. She got her booba. She got booba out. A little tasteful booba. I think it's actually fine. I don't think it's actually that inappropriate. The stream like cuts, like the stream is gone. I just instantaneously get banned. No, it's such a cute design. I love the way you've been drawing faces lately. Such like a soft, squishy face. I love all the moth designs. The little like veins in the wings look great. Love the flow of the hair, the colors, the ripples in the clothes. It looks fantastic. Great pose here too. Love that hand. Oh, let's keep that up here while I go find somebody to raid. What was the name of the person? Mega Bro 16. Are they on? Nope. Dang it. Gosh dang it. Hmm. Let's go into Ethereal. We're doing some Dead by Daylight killer right now. Ethereal is a super cool person. They are German, actually. They're speaking English. They speak English, but super cool person. LGBT. I want to say that they're also vegan. Yes, they're also vegan. So very cool individual. Let's go ahead and show them some love, folks. I will be back maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after tomorrow. Probably earlier in the day to play a little bit of 999 and hopefully finish it up. I'll allocate like a couple hours to get through it. But yeah, thank you all for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Sorry that I didn't end up finishing it and I lied. You can cancel me if you would like on Twitter or Blue Sky. I will understand. Thank you all for being here. I will catch you all later. Good night. Goodbye. Good night.